One of the most challenging things as a teacher is when kids submit work at different times. And so you're not sure if the work is there, if it's not. You're not sure about the email notifications, like are you going to get email notifications as they pass in work? So this is what you need to do. On the side here, the settings at the way bottom, so right down here it says settings. If you clicked on that, this gives you the settings for all of your classes. And so you can, this is where you would indicate if you want email notifications, and this is where you choose which ones you want to get. Do you want to get, I have all of mine turned on, so it just depends which ones you want. But for classes that you teach, the choices that you have are late submissions of work, resubmissions of work, invitations to co-teach, and scheduled, post, published, or failed. So these ones are generally what you're going to get, but you notice that it only shows late and resubmission. So you don't get a notification when kids are turning things in. And that for some teachers is problematic, but that's okay, because if you click back on those 3 lines, there's this to review. And so what that does is it's going to show you exactly what is being passed in and what you can still review as a teacher. So right now the default is for all classes. So right now the class that I'm teaching is the summer training. So I'm going to click on that and I'm going to see, I can see this one, I haven't graded anybody's yet. So right now I have 5 that have turned in, but it doesn't show anything in the assigned column. It just shows turned in because everyone has it assigned and no one has it graded. So it's sort of like these 2 columns are going to shift left as soon as I grade something. But you can see I have 4 things to do here, 6, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3. So the other day I had these all done. And now look, I have lots to do. And so it's easy for me just to check to see what I still need to do by popping here. So that's really important to do as a teacher. Now, what you can teach your students to do, because they might say like, oh, can you tell me, all the things that I have due? There's 2 ways for them to get that information. Number 1, on the outside, they can click on this little, looks like a person inside of a box, and that shows all of their work. So it shows right here, it gives their name. If there's a guardian attached, it's going to show the guardian's name here. And this is the list of everything that's been assigned. And it says if it's assigned, if it's missing, and if they've turned it in and it's been graded, then it will show here. Now this one says not turned in. That just means the kid didn't click the turned in button. I graded it anyway. So you can still see their work and grade it if you want, even if there's nothing that they haven't hit the turned in button. So that's a choice that you can make, or you can say in your classroom that's not going to be possible. So I think this is very handy to share with students how to get at this information. And then on the side here, they can click just to say, okay, what is missing? So they can click on that and then just focus on their missing work. They can check to see everything that's been returned and the grades they've received. And so for this one, they got a 0. So maybe they're going to want to look at that and maybe resubmit it if you allow that in your classroom. So this is a really great way to teach kids how to do that. The other way that they can access the exact same information is if they click on their classwork tab, which is the middle one, and then they click on this review your work. And you can see that icon is the exact same. It gives some information here as to what it is. And so they can click there and they can see it. There is actually a third way for students to get their information as to what they need to do. They have, ours said to review, theirs says to do. And so this one will be for every single class they're enrolled in. So this will show, and it's showing all of their missing work first. They put that at the top. And then if you scroll down, anything without a due date, anything that's due tomorrow, and they break out for what's upcoming. So these are new things, they're not late yet. So it puts the late work on top. And the default is for all of their classes. And they could click here and they can switch and they can just pick, just the class that they're looking at now. So again, this is just the missing one. If they want to focus on one class at a time, anything without a due date, anything that's due tomorrow, and then it puts the rest, if they have a due date, that's upcoming. So it has all that information in there. So that is the third way for the students. This one is just like the way we would go in as teachers. The label's just a little bit different. And the formatting of how it is a little bit different because it goes by missing instead of the order of which the assignments came in. So that could be helpful to students. Now I'm going to show you from the teacher side how you can get the same information and how you can email that to parents if you so choose. So I'm going to click back on the teacher. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to go into that particular class. And I'm going to go to the people. And I'm going to scroll down to that particular student. So I'm going to click on STEM student. And so right now STEM student has an 83.33%. because I have grades turned on in mine. Again, that's a choice that you can or cannot do. So if I'm feeling like, wow, the student is now starting to fall behind, there's lots of missing work, before that they were turning things in and I want to send a message to the parents. If the parents are linked on this, and this one does have the guardian attached, I can click on this, email students or guardians, and then I can type a message here, and I can click this button to include the work summary. And here, right now, the default is just to go to the student, but I can send it to the student and guardians. And so they're both going to get this message, and I can type whatever I want here. So this is a really quick way for you to send messages to your students and to get parents involved as well. And I'm going to show you what the email looks like. So here is how it comes through. So it says the student's first name, and then it will say progress in, and then it will say the name of your class. And it comes through with this gray background with the Google Classroom because it is being mailed from Google Classroom. And it comes from, and again, that shows my name. This is the note that I ended up adding to that little area where you could add your own notes. I put a little message about how I noticed work was missing recently, wanted to see if the student needed extra support. I informed the student that I was copying the parents on the message so that we can all work together. And then I reminded the student of the office hours, and then said if those times don't work, we can find a time that does. So that's what I sent. So this is the student's icon, student's name, again, the name of the class, when it was created, the date and time. And so this, again, shows all of the information of the work, what's missing, what's there, what was graded. So that way, parents are informed, I loop them in. It's really quick to do this, and then everyone is informed and everyone knows I'm trying to work with both the student and the family to support the student. So I think that this is a really great tool that you should try this year.